Now, Artur Beterbiev has just defeated Anthony Yarde via technical knockout in the 8th round of their, light heavyweight title bout. Now, this fight was a slugfest. There's no other way to put it. It was entertaining from round one. I felt like in round one that Anthony Yarde's movement was very phonetic, as he was moving his upper body a lot, but it looked like it was kind of unorganized, it looked unorthodox, and it looked like it was using up a lot of his energy. And I felt like in the opening round, Anthony Yarde was the one, walking Artur Beterbiev onto shots. Normally, Beterbiev is the guy that walks other people onto shots, and we seen that in the Joe Smith fight. He was walking Joe Smith onto, hooks and uppercuts, but in the first round of this fight, Anthony Yarde actually was using Artur Beterbiev's own game against him. Now, Beterbiev was forcing Yarde into the corners. He was throwing looping shots, and he was increasing his punch volume, and he was cutting off the ring, specifically when he got Yarde into the corner. When he did get Yarde into the corner, he was a lot less economical with his punches. He was just throwing a lot of punches. But when they were in the center of the ring, I'm going to call him Beterbiev, he was extremely economical. He does not try to waste punches, and by doing that, you have a lot of energy, because Beterbiev doesn't move his upper body a lot. He doesn't have the quickest feet. He doesn't have a lot of upper body movement, but he's got a very tight guard. He's got a good chin. He's got a solid jab, and he's got good left hook. He's got good looping shots. His straight shots aren't as good as his looping shots, because once Artur Beterbiev starts finding, his angles, and he starts landing and he starts timing, he really hits you clean. He is an extremely accurate fighter. Anthony Yarde, he wasn't landing as cleanly and consistently on Artur Beterbiev as Beterbiev was on Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde would land good shots here and there, but I felt like the consistent good body of work was coming from Artur Beterbiev. And even though I had Yarde up by, I think, a round or two, I can't remember, even though he was winning the fight up until the knockout, Artur Beterbiev was just slowly, methodically breaking Anthony Yarde down round by round. Both of their faces were marked up, but Yarde's was marked up worse, in my opinion, than Beterbiev's, because Beterbiev was hitting Yarde clean. And, the knockout really came as a result of a right hand that Artur Beterbiev timed. I felt like in the middle of the ring, Anthony Yarde just neglected the jab just a little bit. He would use the jab when he was kind of cornered, but he has less time, he has less room to work with. It's hard to really operate effectively, when you're on the back foot. You don't want Beterbiev, walking you down. Beterbiev is dangerous whether he's walking you down or whether you're pushing him back. But I would rather fight him, pushing him back than allowing him to walk me down. Even though, he was, obviously Anthony Yarde was walking Artur Beterbiev onto shots, it's still very, very dangerous, because once he's cut off the ring, that's where Artur Beterbiev can increase his punch volume and land those, thudding shots. I mean, this guy is really just a massive puncher. He's literally knocked everybody out, people. This might be the biggest puncher in boxing. He might be a bigger puncher than Deontay Wilder and Gervonta Tank Davis. His record probably suggests so. Well, I don't know in comparison to Deontay Wilder, because Wilder's had 40-odd fights. Beterbiev hasn't even reached 20 fights, and Gervonta Davis has 20-ish fights. So I don't know necessarily if he's a bigger puncher than them, but for me, he's a top 3 puncher, and the case could be made that he is the biggest puncher. Beterbiev had a lead left hook in the 3rd round that stunned Anthony Yarde, but it was at the end of the 3rd round, so Yarde was able to recover. And Yarde had an amazing left hook and right hand in the 5th round, but Beterbiev's chin held up. I mean, both of these guys showed amazing heart and amazing chin in the fight. So, credit where credit's due. Anthony Yarde, he came, he put his best effort, he did all he could, and you can see the natural ability and the talent. I don't know what age Anthony Yarde started boxing, but you can see there's a lot of natural ability there. And most of it comes with his athleticism, his ability to move his upper body, slip shots. He's very explosive. He has the speed. He's got some good power on him. So he's kind of like a boxer puncher. He can do everything to a decent level. He's not a pure boxer. We've seen him being out-jabbed and out-pointed by Lyndon Arthur in the first fight. He's not a pure pressure fighter because he wasn't, putting pressure on Beterbiev in this fight. He was the one who was actually trying to box more than put pressure on Beterbiev. So, yeah. Beterbiev, he's got an amazing chin. Will this be enough to beat Dmitry Bivol? We'll have to wait and see. I suspect that... See, I see some people say that, Bivol's the favourite. Yarde was being outboxed by... Beterbiev was being outboxed by Anthony Yarde. And yes, that might be true. But it's when Beterbiev starts landing clean, he really starts breaking his opponent down. I mean, you suspect it's only a matter of time once he's cut off the ring to start really landing clean. I mean, Bivol does have good footwork and he does have better defense than Anthony Yarde. So that will pay dividends. Maybe Bivol, for the most part, can keep Artur Beterbiev off him. It is very possible. So that's the fight we need next. I would like to see Anthony Yarde fight someone like a Joshua Buatsi next. Or maybe a Craig Spider Richards next. But I really think the Joshua Buatsi fight is probably the best fight Anthony Yarde could make. It's a domestic fight. Joshua Buatsi is from the UK. Yarde is from the UK. So let's try and make it happen. Alright guys, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Peace.